Morning, Dad.
Hey, good morning.
First question up for today says, I think our AC might be leaking Freon, but we can't afford a new system. Also, we're probably moving within 3 months, but we have medical issues, require AC, and it's going to be over 100 degrees for several days. My husband says our system's Freon isn't allowed in California anymore, because their system is between 12 and 15 years old. Can we add a different type? And will this system work with a different type? How do we add more if it's not allowed? Thank you for your help. What say you about that?
What say me?
Yes.
Well, first of all, there's an awful lot we don't know. And, I don't know specifically what kind of refrigerant they have or their system has or what the local restrictions are.
Do they even know that they said, I think our AC might be leaking Freon? Like,
exactly.
Were they told for sure?
There's a lot that they don't know as well.
Right.
And what I'm hearing is they really don't know what's wrong. It's not working well, and they don't know what's wrong, and so we're assuming the absolute worst case scenario is what it sounds like. That rarely happens. That worst case scenario rarely is what is going to happen. My suggestion would be get a good reference for a local professional who can come out and look at the system and evaluate what is going on, what's not going on. It could be something very simple, a simple maintenance problem or something like that. So get someone who you can trust, explain to him what's going on, and let's get his diagnosis. And then he'll have recommendations. If it is a refrigerant problem or something like that, he'll know exactly what you can and can't do. And you also throw in the caveat, we may be moving in a short period of time. Well, do you own this home? Do you own this air conditioner? That's going to come in. You're going to deal, if that's the case, you're going to deal with it whether you want to or not in a few short months. So you might as well be proactive and figure out what the best way to attack it is. So
what would you say to somebody who's like, well, can you just use new Freon, the new type of Freon in an older unit?
There are replacements for all the old refrigerants. I really don't know what is allowed or not allowed in California. California is kind of way ahead of the rest of the country as far as what you can and can't do. So another reason to have a relationship with somebody you trust who knows what you can and can't do and what the best way of approaching it would be.
But I am just curious, though, Dad, like if you have an older system, can you change the type of Freon that it takes?
Right.
You can?
Yeah, there are replacements where it may require changing the oil or type of lubricant that's in your system. Technology is advancing, and so they have come out with what we call drop-in replacements, where we can add refrigerant, this new refrigerant with the old refrigerant. They're made to be compatible with each other. So yes, you've got options when it comes
interesting.
to that.
However, I will say, we only know what is and is not allowed in Kansas. And in Kansas, you have to have some kind of a license to handle refrigerant, right? Correct.
Right.
To purchase and handle it.
And that's pretty universal. I'm sure that's correct.
I'm sure that California has the same legalities with that. Okay, good. Thank you very much. All right, question number 2. We have a cracked concrete under the AC unit that needs replacement. It is removable concrete. If you have 2 people lifting the AC unit up and one person changing the concrete, do you still need to pump down the system, cut wires, and other stuff that's connected? How would you go about that?
And what I think she was referring to, what they have is a precast concrete pad.
Right,
so it's something
that
yes, if I had the weight of the air conditioner off of it, I could slide it out and slide a new one in. And yes, absolutely, you can pick it up. That's our preferred way of setting a new pad underneath it. But there's a few caveats to that, a few things you have to be careful of. So before you start lifting on the air conditioner, what really comes in handy is have a couple of long timbers, like 6 to 8 foot 2x4s, for instance. And you're going to slide those underneath the air conditioner along the front and back, or on the left and right, but usually on the front and back. So if you can imagine, one of those carts like what they would carry Cleopatra around, that's basically what it's going to look like.
Right.
So your 2 guys, have the leverage of the timbers, and they're moved back away from the air conditioner. They're a ways away, so you could pick up the air conditioner and have room for someone to work between the two of you. Now, when you pick it up, look at the refrigerant lines as they come out of the house. You cannot, we want to be very careful not to crimp it or kink it in any way. You usually are going to want to lift it and swing it to whatever angle it's permitting you to do it. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. You can't just lift straight up. Right. You're going to have to lift and swing it to the left or swing it to the right, depending on how the refrigerant lines are going into the house. So be real careful with that. Just let it swing and then pull the old pad out and put the new one back in. We use a gravel that we can kind of shovel in and kind of get it leveled and then slide the new pad, on top of that. But, if you've got a couple extra helpers, if you wanted to do as I've described and you had a couple of cinder blocks or 4 cinder blocks, you could even rest it on a cinder block while you're pulling the pad out and doing all that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So that makes sense?
Yeah, definitely. And I've noticed the installers, they typically, when they put a new pad down, they get their level out and everything and make sure that the pad is level before they even put the air conditioner back on, right?
We like to put it a little bit of a grade away from the foundation, so if there's water or something like that, let it run away from the house instead of towards the house. But,
Okay, cool.